The countdown freaks me out a little bit still.
Okay, I found a soundboard. Can you hear this? I'm assuming by your face that means no.
I can't hear anything.
Damn it. That's so
And we're not going to
disappointing.
know if anyone else can hear it until the actual podcast is done and
It's
exported.
like intro/outro music. So, I mean, this is not even remotely going to be our intro, but it's this like cool little beat. I wish you could hear it.
You're like bopping to it. So now I'm jealous that I can't bop with you. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't know what the song is. Well, if you don't know, I'm Ricki.
I'm Jake.
And you're listening to 20-somethings doing nothing. And I would hope that you would know that because you probably clicked on the link to listen to this, but we never know what you're doing, you know, what kind of day you're having. You may have clicked a link you didn't mean to. So here you are. Here we are. Let's get to it.
Do you think this is someone's first episode?
It's totally possible. Anything's possible.
That's kind of weird. Like, how do you start if this is someone's first episode? Like, who are we?
Well, I'm first going to start with the fact that I apologize in advance if my voice cracks or if I lose my voice or if I start coughing during any of this, because I have the most severe allergies right now. Like,
Yeah,
severe.
you sound a little nasally.
Oh my gosh. I hardly slept last night. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep right now because I felt so shitty all night and all this morning. Like, I feel horrible. And if I didn't just get a negative COVID test result today, I would have thought I had COVID.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, my chest hurts and my fucking face hurts and I'm sniffly and it's everything that you would think that you would have as first symptoms for COVID.
Why does your face hurt?
From like, I feel like pressure behind my eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like right behind my eyes and like right behind my cheekbones. I feel just like pressure. You know what I mean? Like a headache like that.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
I wish you could hear the music because I'm playing a dramatic piano right now.
I hope that this comes through when the podcast is done, just so I can hear all the times that you end up putting a random song over what I'm actually fucking saying.
Well, I haven't added a lot of options yet, so my options are limited.
I blame John for all of this because when we did the podcast with Almost On Air with Erica and John had a soundboard, a little mini tiny guy, and Jake loved it so much. And I said, this is going to be the end of us because now you're just going to ruin everything with these fucking sounds.
It's just going to be more useful because instead of adding music and stuff after we're done, I can do it while we're actually recording. It's going to be great.
Yeah, if it works.
Hopefully it works.
Fingers crossed.
So,
are you ready for random shit?
Random shit.
Okay, do you want to start?
What is random shit?
Random shit is just the random stuff that we can't make into a topic, but we still want to talk about.
Ricki, how often do you clean your toilet?
So I'm going to be completely transparent. My dad has a cleaning service, so I never clean the toilet. But I never have to. They clean it every 2 weeks.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Every 2 weeks is a good amount of time because I go I'll clean my toilet, right? I'll clean the seat. I'll clean under the seat because guys and pee, you know, and then I'll clean like behind the toilet seat because that gets dirty, and then I'll clean on top. But underneath the toilet and like on the side of the toilet where you don't usually see gets real fucking nasty.
Yeah,
and I clean
like
that
hair
probably
gets under there and dust and like, yeah.
I clean that probably once a month, and I really should clean it more often, but it's fucking disgusting.
I think when I lived in my own apartment that I probably cleaned it once a month. Like cleaned it good once a month. But I'm also a girl and I was living with a girl, and it's not like we pee all over the seats and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be living alone soon, so I'm not going to have to, it's not going to be as disgusting because it's just going to be one person using the toilet.
Right. I think once a month makes sense though. Like to really clean it. You know what I mean? Like everything.
Right.
Clean it all down.
At least once a week I do a clean.
That's good.
But
that's actually more than I thought you would, because I know you don't clean your sheets very often, so I'm shocked.
Sheets, different story. But
I'll never agree with you on the sheets thing. It's just never going to happen.
So now I've discovered cleaning TikTok.
Oh, God.
there's this whole world of cleaning people on TikTok, and they give you all these tips and tricks and things and to use and like how they clean this and how they clean that. And I'm like, first of all, what's that noise?
That noise is definitely all you. Whatever noise that is, I hear nothing.
Dude, some crazy shit happens when we record this podcast.
I think it's always on your end, though, not mine.
Yeah,
just gonna throw that out.
They give you like tips and tricks, and I'm like, I've been cleaning everything wrong my entire life, or I just don't do a good enough job. It's not that I'm cleaning it wrong; it's that there's just better ways to do it.
Right.
And I thought I was a really clean human, and cleaning TikTok has made me realize I'm really not.
You're a filthy animal.
Yeah.
I think if I watched cleaning TikTok too, though, that I would be like, I never cleaned anything correctly in my entire life. Like, what do I do now?
Right.
Because I'm sure there are so many tricks that I don't even know. For instance, this isn't even necessarily a cleaning trick, but my one friend, when I was at her house recently, she pulled out because somebody had spilled wine. Oh, she spilled wine on her white shirt. And she has this wine out for like carpeting and sofas. And holy shit, this thing is magical.
You need to send it to me.
Magical, Jake. Like change your life magical. Instantly gone. Red wine, donezo. Never happened.
What?
It's amazing. Like, and I had no idea it existed. Had no idea.
So fun.
It's so good. I will share it with you. I'll share it with everybody. I just have to ask her what it is. I forget what it's called.
Thank
but
you.
It's amazing.
It's like... No, go ahead.
No, you can go first.
No, you go first.
I was going to go into my random shit.
Oh, go for it. I'm over cleaning.
Okay. I recently brought to your attention and everyone else's on social media that my boyfriend won the Super Bowl pool, right? And then I thought that I should get some of his cuts because I made him do the pool.
Okay.
Right? Do you remember this?
Yeah, we're still talking about this.
Well, we're not still talking about this instance.
Oh, God.
This time,
oh God,
my boyfriend used to be a wrestler.
Here we go again.
And he's very much into wrestling because he still coaches, just not this year, but he used to coach for a very long time. And this past weekend was the NCAAs, which is like the huge wrestling tournament for college wrestlers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was in another pool where that motherfucker won again.
What?
He didn't win the first prize like he did in the first one. He won second, though. So he still like tripled his money.
You're not going to argue to me that you should get any of this money.
I think.
No.
I think. Because I sat and I had to watch this shit with him. Which is not interesting to me in any way, shape, or form. But I love him. And that's what you do for people that you love. You compromise and you do things like this. I don't think that I should get like his money necessarily, right? But I do think that he should buy me something for the fact that I watched that with him and because he won. He won free money.
How much money did he win?
I can't tell you how much, but enough.
Is it more than $100?
Yes.
Okay, then he's got to like take you out to dinner or something.
Something, yeah. Like even if it's for the both of us and we go out to dinner, like I want something for the fact that I sat on that couch and I watched wrestling for hours.
But why? You didn't have, nobody was making you watch wrestling for hours.
Not
that was your
he was
choice.
Making me. Yes, but it kind of
You could have done something else. You could have gone somewhere and done something
but
other than watching
so
him.
Happy for
and you had no involvement in his what's the word I'm looking for?
Picking of the people that he picked for his pool.
Yeah, and the fact that he did this. So you don't deserve shit for this one. But it would be nice to go out to eat at least.
Something, anything. Because it was like not fucking fun.
You could have done anything else with your time, but you chose to sit with him and watch it.
Because I was being a good girlfriend. I was trying to share an experience with him.
Okay. What about my siblings' graduations? High school graduation?
No, because that equals out because they go
to
to yours too. And that equals out.
Yeah, but like...
If they didn't go to yours, like if it was something where like they didn't go to yours and you went to theirs, then yes, you deserve something because college graduation is the worst shit ever. I didn't even want to be at my own college graduation. My high school graduation was very quick. I graduated with 160 people.
Oh yeah, mine was huge.
So like mine was literally, I think mine was an hour total. and it was outside. Like, it wasn't a big deal. But college graduation was hours of shit that no one cares. Like, I didn't even want to go to my own college graduation. I only went for my parents because it's so boring.
I don't know why they can't just like speed it the fuck up.
I don't understand what their thought process is on it, to be honest with you. It
Like,
makes no
nobody
sense.
wants to sit there for that many hours and listen to all these speeches and all these different things. Like, get somebody who can read really quickly and get the names reading faster and just get through it. It's hot usually, and it's sometimes it's outside, and it's just you're
not near
uncomfortable and
anyone
there's
you want to be
horrible
near.
chairs, right?
Yeah.
Like, just speed it up.
It's very boring. So that's a different situation because you guys even out that way. I was just trying to be a very good girlfriend and trying to share an experience with him, which, like, I know people are going to say, well, then that was what you get, is you shared an experience with him and you made him happy, so that should make you happy. But you want to know what makes me happy? Money and a good dinner. That makes me happy.
Are you looking for a future partner, or are you looking for a sugar daddy? Because
A little bit of both.
okay, that makes sense.
Why can't I have both?
You definitely can. I would like both in a partner of mine as well. So I understand that. And I think the fact that he won over $100 and you won't tell me how much it was means that it was definitely a lot, which means you definitely deserve a nice dinner.
Yeah. Just not thank you.
No, not for watching, because you could have done anything else. You deserve a nice dinner just because you're his girlfriend and you deserve that. And he came across this. Yeah.
That's fine with me. That's still me winning. I accept your rationale. That's fine.
Okay.
I still win in this situation. As long as I'm getting something, I'm winning. So I'm cool with that.
It's a win for everyone. Except, no, it's a win for everyone.
Right? Yeah, because it would be a dinner that him and I would go to together. So, like, he's getting a nice dinner too. It's just he's paying for it.
Exactly.
So, like, win-win. Win-win-win-win-win. All of us together.
Speaking of winning, about 6 years ago, we talked about you babysitting your 3-day-old nephew.
Yeah. And we never got to talk about it because we had so much shit going on before we can actually get to this topic. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like still recovering from the hangover from our live stream with Carla Marie and Anthony.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff just happen out of nowhere, and a lot of it happened within the last 2 weeks. So we've been like very busy. Yes. So I've had people ask how it went, and they've reached out to me. So I figured we'd do a quick little synopsis. Number 1, babysitting infants is easy as shit.
What?
Newborns are so easy.
If nothing goes wrong.
Because all they do is eat and poop and sleep. Like, that's all Tillian did, was eat, poop, and sleep. That's it. So very easy. Little nerve-wracking though, I will say, like, the whole time, even though you're like, oh, this isn't that bad, you're still very anxious and nervous because you're like, it's not that bad, but when will it get bad? So the whole time you're like anxious. I will say that I think that AJ and I are a really good team. Because he was really sweet. He like wanted to feed Tillian and like wanted to hold him and change him and things like that. Speaking of changing him though, Tillian gave me poop hands. So as I was changing him, I think you know what it means. It's pretty self-explanatory. As I was changing him, he is the squirmiest little newborn. So you know how to change a newborn, right? Or like a baby in general. You don't have any idea how to change a baby?
Is it a newborn different than a baby?
No, it's the same thing. Like, you lift their legs up, you wipe them all over and things like that, and then slide a new diaper underneath. Put powder and things like that, whatever. So when I was lifting his legs up, he squirmed so much that his one leg slipped out of my fingers, out of my grip, slammed into his poop, and then his foot went right back up on my hands. So it just smeared poop all over my hands.
So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can see that Ricki's wearing an Apple Watch. So my question is, did it get all over your Apple Watch?
No, it didn't. It literally went from it got very close, but it went from like my bottom of my hand up like my fingers to like my fingertip. And I was like, all right, this is how we're going to do this then, isn't it?
The amount that we talk about poop in the last few weeks is a little concerning.
It's a little concerning. But I mean, that's what newborns do. They poop a lot. So when I had to change him, I got poop hands. And I will never, ever let him live that down.
So AJ doesn't owe you dinner. I changed my mind because he had to babysit with you. So now
No.
you owe
He
him dinner
didn't have
and it
to.
evens out.
He did not have to. He wanted to.
You didn't have to watch wrestling.
I did, though.
Nope. So it evens out. He
It
doesn't
doesn't
owe you
even
shit
out.
now.
But I didn't make any money for babysitting. He made money for watching wrestling.
It doesn't matter. It's the experience.
It's not the experience. I hate you so much. Anyway, it was all around a good experience. We were exhausted by the end of it, though, because even though he's not a lot to take care of, it is just like exhausting being worried the entire time.
How many people? How many times did he poop during the however long you were watching?
Only once.
Oh, really? I thought newborns poop like every 3 seconds.
No, I only had to change him once. Just one poop.
I don't really know much about newborns. I've got a lot to learn one day.
There's a lot and also not that much, I feel like, because everyone tends to learn it pretty quickly once they become parents. It seems like, at least.
Like, I can handle a puppy. I've done that before.
I keep saying that my dog is kind of like a newborn because he lets me know when he's hungry. He does like these little like growls that he does. And that's like his hungry growl. So like I know when he's hungry, just like a baby cries when it's hungry, and he's hungry all the fucking time. He lets me know when he has to go out. Babies let you know when you need to change them because they cry again.
Yeah.
And like he's just needy. Like he needs to be on top of me all the time, just like a baby. You have to hold it constantly. So I feel like I'd be fine if I had a newborn. Not that I want one yet, but I think I'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pass on that.
Ever?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
The older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But I do want kids. Just not in the near future.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't have to be in the near future. But I think like what I realized though is that it's definitely not as hard as it seems. Like it seems a lot harder than it actually is because you psych yourself out. At least for watching him. Because, like, granted, I got to pass him back. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't keep me up all night or anything like that. So those things are obviously very difficult. But I think that you psych yourself out more in the beginning. And then while you're doing it, you're just kind of like, oh, this isn't that bad.
Isn't that like everything in life, though? Like, I remember when I got a tattoo, I was so fucking nervous because I was like, this is going to hurt so bad. And then I was getting the tattoo and I was like, oh, this is really not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Because the hype is so much more than the actual whatever event that it is.
Totally. And I will say that it definitely made a difference for the fact that AJ was so willing to help and so willing to be an active part of it. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'll come with you. And he just sat there and didn't do anything. Like he wanted to feed him. He wanted to hold him. He wanted to like change him, things like that. He wanted to be a part of it. So I will say that I think that that's part of having babies too, is like having babies with the right person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I sure hope you're having a baby with the right person.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have babies with the right people.
Somehow I've avoided it.
So far, at least.
Oh my God.
I think my point is that I hope that men our age are more involved like AJ is. Because I don't think that men prior were that involved.
AJ can't just set the standard, though, because he's so much higher on the scale than everyone else. So, like, it has to be like a weighted system because like if he is the top of the system, then like there's no way for me to be able to get up that high because I'm just never going to be like AJ. So like it's got to be a weighted scale somewhere where like I can be like decent and then that's like pretty close to his level.
Okay. That's fine. As long as you just actually give your effort to it. Just because like I said, I don't think that men prior really gave so much effort, and not all
prior
men,
to what?
Prior to like our
prior
generation.
To AJ?
No, prior to our generation. I think a lot has changed with our generation. I think that men are okay with actually partaking and taking care of kids. Not all of them, obviously. There's still plenty that aren't, but I think that older generations were so stuck in that old school thought process of like, I come home, I make all the money, you take care of babies. Like, that's not how it should work.
Unless you're just super rich and then neither of you have to take care of the baby.
Just nannies all around.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Yeah, I don't know. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Not for me.
You're not rich, so you have nothing to worry about. There's no way that you're going to get a nanny.
Yet.
Okay, I like the little yet thrown in there. Okay,
If
I see where you're going.
If I win enough of these NCAA pools, I'm gonna have to start betting more.
That's the key to success and money is gambling it all away.
My coworker, exactly. You just go to the casino. My coworkers and I are doing a March Madness one. Okay. We got like all of our brackets, and I don't know if I've ever done it before. I don't think I have. But this is the first year that I've done it, and then I went to a bar for the first night, and my friend looked at my bracket and was like telling me which of the games I needed who to win. And so I was literally watching 4 basketball games at one time and like rooting on the teams that I had going to win. And I was like, this is so weird. I've never cared about sports in my entire life. And now I'm watching 4 basketball games at one time. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know where I am on the...
Win?
No.
Oh, okay. Just some of them.
Apparently there was, I don't remember what the stat was, but some like absurdly low amount of people had a perfect bracket after the first night.
Yeah, that tends to happen. It's all shit that I don't understand, like odds and everything, and I'm just not a mathematician, so I never do this shit.
So now I only play or care about sports when I have something in it.
It does make you care more because you obviously want to win, so you want to know what's happening. Because I actually like sports and I do watch sports every so often, but I never care as much until I have something actually like weighing on it.
Well, yeah, it's everything's more fun when you've got money in on it.
Well, normally it's not money. It's a lot of pride for me. I never gamble my money. I work too hard for my money, so I don't gamble it because I don't have luck. So I tend to just not mess with that, you know?
I like gambling, but I haven't done it in a long time, and it's probably for the best.
Definitely for the best.
Excuse me. Oh my God.
You just burped. I heard that.
Oh
my goodness. Are you okay?
Oh, I like downed my dinner before we started recording this.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
You're disgusting. We have other things to talk about, though, other than your gambling problems.
So my gambling problems.
We have other things to get to here.
You just slide that in there. I do not have a gambling problem. The other day, my mom was like, so I listened to your podcast the other day, and I was like, no, please don't. Just like stop right there and just like don't.
What did she say?
She was listening because she wanted to know why I had a burner phone. She thought I was lying to her.
Why did she think? Wait. Why did she think you had a burner phone?
I don't know.
She didn't tell you why she thought you had it? She just told you she didn't believe you?
Yeah.
Okay. So she listened to the podcast.
That's as far as I got because I didn't want to hear anything else.
Oh, okay. So okay. So she listened to the podcast and you have no idea what part she actually listened to, but she thinks you're a liar.
Yes. Well, now she knows that I'm not a liar.
Okay, that's good. But does she have any other concerns? Is that
probably
where this is going?
No, she probably has other concerns, but I didn't want to hear what she heard.
I tell all my family never to listen, and they all still do. So it's just, well, they're going to know more about me than I want them to. And that's all right, because now we both must suffer that consequence.
It's just better if we don't acknowledge it, though. Like if she heard something and then she's like, oh, and we just like never talk about it, that's great.
Kind of like maybe what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if she heard this.
Okay, so share with the class. Let's talk.
Well, actually, it's a little different because I didn't tell you the full story. So
you didn't. That's why I'm saying share with the class. I want to know.
I had posted something on the 20-somethings Doing Nothing Instagram at 20SDN podcast. If you don't follow us, you should.
Facebook.
And thank you. After about 5 minutes, I went back to watch it because I like to watch myself because I have a really big ego. And so I swiped.
We all do.
I swiped up to see like who was watching, which I never really do because the list usually gets long and I'm like, I don't really care to scroll through all this except, for when you're like talking to someone and you check to see if they're watching your stuff, which is kind of nuts, but like I'm kind of nuts like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. I'm on the same page. Let's go.
There was about 5 people that had watched at this point, right?
Right.
And one of the people on this list was somebody that I dated that broke my heart.
Oh, you added the broke my heart part. I didn't know if you were going to say that.
Yeah. But here's the crazy thing, right? So I haven't talked to this person in so long, since September. And what is it now?
Okay.
March? So what's
Yes.
that? 6 months? January, September, October, November, December, January, February. I don't know. It's been a
I
while.
don't add.
We've already discovered this. I haven't talked to this person in a long time, right? I unfollow them on everything because that's the best way to get over someone, is to just delete them from your life, in my opinion. So then, of course, I get really curious. So I'm like, I didn't know this person was even following the podcast. So then I looked, are they following the podcast? Yep, they're following the podcast. Looked at my account, are they following me? Nope, they're not following me.
I didn't know this part. You didn't say this part to me.
I know.
That's weird.
I'm very confused by it, because if anything, I would think if I was in this position, I would follow the person and not their podcast. Why the fuck would I follow their podcast if I don't have no interest in them?
I'm almost kind of honored, because I feel like that means that she's interested in me and not you. And that's why she listens to the podcast. So, like, thank you for that.
Do you think she thought that you and I were together and that's why she actually ended things? And now she's trying to see if she was right?
I don't think so at all. I think that she just really likes the podcast, and I don't blame her for that.
Do you think that she listens to the podcast?
That's what I was going to ask you, because you could obviously follow the social media, but that doesn't mean you're technically listening. There's a possibility that she also listens.
I would find it really hard to believe that she listens to this podcast.
I don't think that it's that hard to believe, Jake.
I would not find it hard to believe if it was within the first few months of after things ended.
Maybe she grew really attached to our storylines and the plot and our lives, and now she can't get enough, and she just keeps listening even though she doesn't even like you anymore.
But I haven't heard from her at all, not even remotely, since she ended things.
Maybe she likes you more as a podcast host than as a boyfriend, so she keeps listening to the podcast but didn't want to date you.
Well, she never wanted me to be her boyfriend, so...
Okay, well, I was trying to, help you here, and
that could be valid.
You're dunking on yourself.
That could be valid, because there are people that I know that I like their podcasts, but I wouldn't date them.
So maybe that's what it is. Maybe she just genuinely likes the podcast, or she just likes the content that we put up, or she's crazy and just wants to kind of see what you're doing without you knowing that she can see what you're doing, because she could easily follow you on your socials, but then you would easily then know that she knows what you're doing.
But she can watch my Instagram story without me knowing that she's, well...
No, she would still know that she watched.
Right. I mean, but I don't check on mine, so I don't know if she watches.
Right. So
and the fact that we don't follow each other, she's not going to pop up on those first like 10 to 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to find her, I would be the crazy one then, scrolling through all these fucking people to see if she's on this list, which I'm not going to do because I don't really care that much.
No,
but
it's not worth it.
I am intrigued enough to talk about it.
Well, yeah, it is intriguing because I didn't know that she didn't follow you. I just knew that she had watched the story, and I was like, fascinating. Yeah. That's interesting.
I mean, it's also just interesting because of how it all went down. And if you listen to our first episode after being on a hiatus for a year, what was it called? I don't remember what the episode was called, but you can find it. I don't remember
what it's called. I think it's called JK We're Back. Yeah.
Oh my God, we both remember that. So I kind of tell the whole story there if you're interested in what happened. So that's why I was even more shocked that she's kind of creeping on us.
I'm honestly mind blown.
Because
I wasn't expecting it, but I kind of get it at the same time.
I don't get it though. In my mind, I have moved on. There's still times where I'm like, damn, I really miss this person and like miss being with them. Well, we weren't even together.
That's normal.
But
being with them in a sense of like being around them. You enjoyed being around that person.
Right. But I've moved on.
So you miss having those moments. Of course, but that doesn't make that you would be a cold-hearted human being if you were just like, yeah, and I don't miss any of it.
Yeah, but
like
she
would have had to do something really bad to you, which I guess she kind of did.
If I moved on, it wasn't that bad. I mean, whatever. I was like, if I moved on and I wasn't the one that chose for it to end, do you think she hasn't moved on?
No, I think she has moved on. But I really do just think that she kind of likes the podcast.
I don't know. I don't think she listens to the podcast. That'd be fucking weird.
I think she has to. Why would she follow the podcast Instagram? You think she just follows the podcast Instagram to see when you post?
Even if she listened to it, I wouldn't expect her to follow us. I would expect her to listen to it and not follow us.
Okay, but so what you're thinking, though, is that she follows the podcast account on Instagram because she's trying to keep tabs on you? You hardly ever post yourself on there.
No, I'm saying I don't know why she's following us, but I don't think she listens.
I think she listens.
I think maybe she didn't realize that she was following us, and then we started posting again, and we just happened to pop up on her feed, so she... I gotta check right now to see if she's still following.
But then wouldn't she unfollow us then?
I'm gonna check if she did.
Okay, see, because like my thought process would be that makes sense, but then she would quickly unfollow and be like, oh, I don't want to follow this.
Let's see.
But also, like, you love the podcast so much that you talk about it all the time, so she definitely knew that she should delete the podcast from her followers.
She's still following us.
See, so that's what I'm saying. So she does listen. She definitely listens.
I don't know.
She definitely listens. She has to listen. Why would she continue to follow the podcast if she didn't listen? Like, what would the point be?
I don't think one has to do anything with the other.
So you think she just follows the podcast Instagram for fucking funsies to see shit that we talk about?
That doesn't make any sense either.
That's None of this saying, makes any Jake. Sense. That's what I'm saying to you. The only thing that makes sense is that she listens to the podcast.
Oh, does this mean that she's like a fan of the podcast?
I think she might be. Which, like, thank you for listening. I appreciate that.
Oh, well, if you're listening, I miss your dog.
Oh. Okay, that made me really sad. Okay, can we move on to something else?
Yes, please.
The I miss your dog part made me really, like, depressed.
Happy topic. I mean, I do miss the
dog. What's a happy topic?
Because, of course, your fucking iPhone gives you, like, featured photos now because I deleted Time Hop, so I didn't see shit like this. And now my phone's like, hey, look, here's a picture of you and the dog from a year and a half ago. Whatever. I got Bailey. I don't need her fucking dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Okay, what's next?
You want to talk about
being single?
Yeah, you want to talk about this article that I didn't actually get to read the whole thing because it's quite motherfucking long.
So, I never even summarized it. So.
Yeah, you need to like explain to me what this article even says. Because what I was gathering is that it's basically saying that you should live a single life even when you're in a relationship.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Yes. So it's not saying go out and fuck a bunch of people.
Right. No, not in that sense.
Right.
Clarify
it's saying you should live a single life, as in you do your own thing and have your own friends and don't need to be with this person 24/7 in order for your relationship to be as successful as possible.
Yes. Embrace your individuality.
And I feel like a lot of people don't do that because, excuse me, I was talking to somebody recently where they had just broken up with somebody and they were like, yeah, every time I would hang out with my friends, they would just like invite themselves. And I'm like, that's kind of hard because one, females often like to hang out with their female friends and do female things. And males often like to hang out with their male friends and talk about dicks, right?
As you should.
So,
as you should.
And so, if you don't have that time with your friends, then you're kind of like becoming one with this other person, which is not in a good way.
Yeah. You're too attached at that point. You don't have your own sense of self.
Right. And like you and AJ are good at, I mean, I think it's just you as a person are good at like doing your own thing no matter who you're with.
Mm-hmm.
And just so many people make their relationship their whole life. And I have been guilty of that. And then I look back and I'm like, damn, that makes a lot of sense why this shit didn't work.
Yeah, because you didn't have anything to call your own. You had no life of your own, and it was all about that one person. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes relationships don't fucking work. So when you give everything that you have to this one person, and then you're left with nothing in the end, it's like, why the fuck did I do that? I only had to do that once to be like, never again.
Right.
It's just not worth it. And it's also just healthier as a whole to have your own life, have your own friends, have your own hangouts that you have set up, have your own hobbies, all of those things. It's nice to share moments with each other. Like, for instance, AJ loves wrestling. Wrestling is one of his hobbies. Like we were just talking about in the beginning of the podcast, I sat down and I watched wrestling with him. So we shared that together and he liked that. I don't do that all the time though. You know what I mean? Like I don't constantly watch wrestling with him. When he wants to go to the bar and watch wrestling with his friends, he goes to the bar and watches wrestling with his friends. When he's coaching, I'm not standing on the sidelines watching him coach. Like I'll go to 1 or 2 matches to support him, but that's his thing that he likes to do. So I let him do that. You know what I mean? And if he wants to have like a guys weekend, cool, go have a guys weekend. Sometimes I want to go to the fucking spa with my girlfriends and not talk to him all day. You know what I mean? Like that's normal. And that makes sure that you have a sense of self. I do this podcast that has nothing to do with him. He listens every week because he supports me. So we can still share that in a sense, but like he has no say in anything that we talk about. He doesn't know how it fucking works. He doesn't, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing, he's not sitting next to me as I'm recording. There are some people that are like that. And it's like, give me a second to myself. You know, like you're allowed to have your own shit, your own things that you want to do while still being connected about the things that you love.
Yeah, see, my thing was like when I found myself doing that, like not spending enough time by myself, it was always, but I enjoy spending time with them so much that I just want to do this. But then the thing that worked for me is I thought to myself, if this person is going to be the person you spend the rest of your life with, you will have many, many, many experiences with them.
Right.
And don't need every single experience in your life to be with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I used it as an excuse, right? So it goes the other way. One time I was dating somebody and they chose their friends over going somewhere with me for my birthday that I had no choice to go. And I was very offended because
Had no choice to go? What do you mean?
like I went for work. And so I had the option to bring the person that I was dating, but they chose to go do something with their friends instead. I forget what the exact circumstance was. Like they had a friend coming to visit or something.
I feel like I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, because I was really butthurt by it, right? But the thought in my head was like, if this person is the one for me, I'm gonna have many, many birthdays with them.
Yeah.
So this one birthday without them is not the end of the world.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I don't want to say where it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember this. Okay. Yes. And that I actually agreed with you on, and I don't agree with you on many things. But I understood where you were coming from in that sense. But you were right though. Like when it comes down to it, you're going to have plenty of time to spend with that person. And as adults now, you know, we tend to eventually move in with that person. So like you're with that person every single day.
Oh,
It's
that's
okay.
even more of a reason to do your own thing.
It's okay to have a day or a weekend where you're not with them. Like that's all right. It's not going to make or break your relationship.
Like
If anything, it's going to make it stronger.
Right. You've lived with a significant other before, and you live with AJ right now, right?
Yeah.
And you lived with him before. I've never lived with a significant other.
Yeah.
Which is still strange to me.
It's not that strange.
Because
it's a big deal to move in with somebody.
All these things that you know, like the way to spend or the balance of spending time with them versus your friends when you live together and all that stuff. I'm going to have to learn all that.
Oh, for sure. But that's also something that when it comes time for you to do that, should be discussed with the other person so they understand. Because I think what we often forget to do is communicate correctly. And sometimes people have different stages of their life. So like the person that you end up meeting that you want to live with again may have lived with like 4 other exes. And then you would just have to be like, listen, I've never lived with someone before. I'm going to be navigating this. You know what I mean? Like, bear with me. Because it is a lot, especially like the first time around, because you don't know what to do. You're like, hey, I'm with you all the time. Like, I don't think I want to be with you today. And then that other person does want to be with you. And you're like, but I don't want to, or vice versa. It's just a very weird, different way and different aspect of your relationship. But I do think that as we get older, it's more important for us to have our own time, mostly because we do spend every day with that person.
But do you ever get offended when the person's like, I'm just going to go do my own thing?
No. I don't get offended. Well, I get like sad sometimes because like I wanted to spend the day with them. Sure. Like where I'm like, meh, I wanted to spend the day with you. But like not to the point where I'm going to cry, not to the point where I'm going to argue with them, and not to the point where it's like really going to be detrimental to me. It's just kind of like, all right, well, then I'm going to spend the day with them tomorrow or something. It's about compromise.
Compromise. Also, I was
Yeah.
listening to one of a podcast that I listen to, Seeing Other People, which is hosted by this girl Lana, who we had on the
Ghosted your
podcast a while
ass.
ago because she ghosted me. And I actually met her in person for the first time this weekend, and it was great because we just like become friends over
Amazing.
time. Yeah, we're not dating; we've become friends. And then I was like, we should meet because we've talked a million times.
Sometimes
So
friendship is just the better way.
right, it is definitely. And so they were talking about how sometimes even if you communicate, you're not really communicating. For example, if I say to you, you and I are dating, and I say, Ricki, I need a day to myself, that could mean two totally different things to both of us.
Okay, what do you mean?
Right. So let me give you a better example. If you and I are, we're talking, right? You and I met on Hinge, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just looking for something casual. And you're like, oh, so am I.
Okay. I think that makes more sense. I think
Yeah.
casual can be something that can be misconstrued in two different ways.
Or you're like, I'm looking for something serious. That could be such different, mean totally different things.
Yeah, I mean, it could be I'm looking for something serious that eventually leads to marriage, or I'm looking for something serious. I want to marry you today.
Oh God.
Like that's true though. That could happen, like depending on the way that they mean it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. In certain ways, when you're communicating, it's not straightforward enough. I think a lot of times we're afraid of hurting each other's feelings, so we're
Right.
not
That's
as upfront as we should be.
that's like what I said. Do you ever get offended when the person you're living with is like, I just want to go do my own thing today? Because they might look at that differently than you look at that. Whereas like
Yeah,
you are just like, yeah, I just want to go hang with my friends. And I'm like, well, but you don't want to hang out with me.
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying.
But I also feel like that won't be misconstrued as much if you're with somebody that you're actually supposed to be with.
Yes, and I think that whenever someone says, I want to go spend time with my friends, you should never really think about it as like, what do you mean you don't want to spend time with me? It's normal to think that because, like, I've even thought it myself, but that person needs to be able to hang out with their friends alone. Like, they need that time for themselves because when tables turn and when you need that time, you need that time.
Right. If you like don't set that precedent in the beginning, I imagine that being really freaking difficult.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. So it is definitely about communication. It is definitely about being upfront with each other. But I do think it's so important, like you said, to live single while being in a relationship, minus the going out with other people thing. Just
Unless
like
that's your thing.
continue. Some people are swingers, some people are into that. That's totally fine, to each their own. But we need to not lose ourselves in our relationships.
Which is so
That's the
easy
most
to
important
do.
part.
And
Oh,
like
yeah.
watching your friend do that is just sucks.
I've watched so many of my friends do it. And it's one thing that, because I'm always the honest friend and I'm the friend that everybody gets upset with because I'm too honest about things, especially relationships. But I'm the friend who then tells them, like, hey, where the fuck you been? And then they get offended. And then it always turns into an argument of, like, oh, you're jealous. And I'm like, yes, I'm very jealous of you having no life, but being next to your boyfriend every day. Like, yes, that's what makes me jealous. So it turns into an argument. It turns into like a battle between me and my friends. And then they break up. And then they want to come back into my life. And I'm like,
Yep.
no, sorry. No, not gonna happen. Other times, yes, I have accepted it. But sometimes it's turned into like legit all out brawls, like very big arguments where I've lost friends over it. And
Because
then they break
people
up with that person and
blinded.
they have nobody.
They just get blinded by their relationship. I don't know if I said this to you. I was saying this to somebody the other day. Like my next relationship, I feel is going to be so strong. Like when I find somebody that I actually want to be with, because of all
Cause you
these
know.
conversations that I've had, and I know exactly what I don't want, and I've witnessed things that are not working and that people think are working. Like I just feel as if my level of relationship healthiness, like my ability to tell if a relationship is healthy or not has grown so much that it'll just help me when I'm in an actual relationship.
So question for you. Do you think that part of that is because you're more self-aware now as well? Like you understand yourself more?
Absolutely. And I think it's a combination of that and the things that I've experienced.
Right. I think that's a good combination. That's a combination you want. Because I think that what makes a healthy relationship is knowing you, like knowing who you are yourself, knowing what you want, and then knowing what works.
Yeah, like looking back at the situation with the girl that watched our Instagram story, it kind of all makes sense now. You know, that was one of
I'm
those
just
things
laughing at
where
the phrasing of that because it was such a weird, like, roundabout way. But yeah.
And that was one of those things where after it ended, everyone was like, oh, yeah, I mean, that wasn't going to last. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Why didn't you say something earlier? You know, because you're blinded.
You are blinded. And also, there wasn't much time for us to say anything earlier because it wasn't that long. So, like, it's a conversation that probably would have happened at some point, but like didn't yet. I mean, I've had conversations with you before about girls that you've dated.
Yeah.
Where I've been like, Jake.
But while I was dating them?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yes, where I'm like, Jake.
It's because I just don't listen when I'm...
Because you don't want to, because you're so enthralled in like this love of like a new person, and it's interesting and it's fun and it's something that you want to work because you love like you as a person, like you enjoy relationships.
Yeah.
So it's hard for you when you're in that relationship to look at the negatives until afterwards. So that's why I was also asking if you think that it's partially because you're more self-aware, like you understand yourself more now and you know, because I've heard you say when we've talked about relationships that like, you know, that you're jealous, you know, that you love and that you ignore signs. Like you've said to me on multiple occasions that you ignore signs now, which I think is very good that you understand that about yourself now.
Right. So now when I'm ignoring them, I'm aware that I'm ignoring them. Which
helps though in the end, because if you're still ignoring them, then there's a bigger problem, obviously, that you need to figure out. But like, at least now you know that you ignore them. So you can look for those signs and you could be like, I ignored that. That's stupid of me. Let's like bring myself back to earth. And I think that's actually like amazing for self-growth. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. And this is
going to be a lot.
This is a same, honestly. Same. And this is a really good time to have discovered all of this, especially with what's coming up in my life in the next few months.
Agreed.
Like it will make what I'm about to do so much more enjoyable and so much more fun and easy.
Agreed.
Which is kind of wild. Like if you were to say to me a year ago, hey, you should do this, XYZ, I would say, oh, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way. But now I can be confident in my decision to do something, to make a big life decision, because I feel more confident in just me as a human.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Kind of wild.
This is why we should always constantly work on ourselves.
And this is why everybody should have a podcast, because you just talk about things that you would never normally talk about.
Well, I think one of the biggest ways of working on yourself is to talk about things with people, which is why I'm a very big advocate for therapy.
We should just change the name of this podcast to Therapy for Jake and Ricki, because
we have worked out a lot of our issues on this podcast and talking about them.
And we have conversations that we wouldn't have otherwise. You know, like I don't think you and I would get as deep as we get as often as we get without the podcast.
I think we would, just not as often, like you said. I think we do have them more often because of the podcast. I think we would definitely still have deep convos, but they would be few and far between.
Right.
It wouldn't be every fucking week.
Oh, what would that be like?
Oh, man, I don't even know.
Do you want to get in the shower?
Yeah, let's get in the shower.
So you don't hear the shower right now?
I can't hear it.
Oh, that's disappointing, because then it doesn't feel like you're in the shower.
I'm definitely in the shower, though.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. I was going to say something, but in a different phrase. And then I was like, oh my God, do not say that. And I think you know what I was going to say. And I was like, no, that's going to come across so fucking wrong. Move on, Ricki.
I don't know what you're going to say, but okay.
Oh god.
What the
I
hell?
think some people listening probably knew what I was going to say.
Oh.
Use your imagination.
Okay. Was this something about me being naked?
No, it was something that like could be sexual, but has to also do with things that are water.
Oh, it's wet. You're wet. I get it.
Great. Glad we got to that.
You had to lead me there.
Glad it happened that way. Oh my god.
Oh, good times. Good times. What the dude? This thing sucks. I'm gonna have to add the shower afterwards. I didn't make it long enough.
Dodo.
What are you thinking today in the shower, Ricki?
I'm thinking about why we say that things are on fire when it's fire that's on things.
Fire's on things. Things are on fire. Holy shit.
Like you would say like the house is on fire, but it's really the fire's on the house.
Whoa.
It's fucked up, right? When you think about it?
Yeah.
The English language is something else.
Mine is less of a holy fuck and more of an actual thought for the shower.
Ooh, let's hear it.
You know shower liners?
Mm-hmm.
I always buy ones that say mold resistant. Why do they always get moldy?
Because you're a disgusting human being. You don't clean it as often as you should. That's why.
Mold resistant? Bullshit. It's not mold resistant.
I don't know how it could actually even be mold resistant. Like it's something that's in a damp area all the time. So
And
like
doesn't
if you
have
don't
a way to dry.
Yeah, if you don't like clean it very often, then it's gonna get I guess even if you do clean it quite often, it could still get moldy.
Yeah.
Question for you. Do you, when you open the shower curtain, do you close it once you get out?
Every single time.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because some people leave it like scrunched up, and that is definitely how you get mold.
Yeah.
That was some like real life adult talk right there.
It'll grow mold against itself.
Yeah.
But my thought is when I open it, it has room to dry, but it still doesn't because it sticks to the tub.
Right. There's no like foolproof way. Really.
I've tried them all. I've tried the vinyl ones. I've tried the plastic ones. I've tried the fabric ones.
You might also just be in a really damp apartment.
Well, I am. It is because the shower gets really moldy quickly too. I have to like clean the shower all the time.
So that's probably why too. Just the dampness of your apartment made out of cardboard boxes.
I can't wait to get the fuck out of here.
One day. Quite soon.
Yep.
Okay, do you want to do your spiel?
Okay, you can. Holy shit, my computer's gonna die. You can follow us on Instagram at 20SCM Podcast. Don't forget, you can text us 201-588-5139. Have a great day. Thanks.
Okay, bye.